Yes. You're doing all the things. So only me and those that are doing senior memorials are going. Hey, these guys look pretty perfect, I would say. Love it. Looking great. Can't wait till you get your real one.
I guess us potentates get to sit up here. Okay, and my favorite part of this is
Thank you.
Hey, Chris.
coming in.
Check.
Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you feel the beat of my heart? Listen to the questions I have. Listen to me. It's all very simple to see what we need. Give us, Lord.
Good morning. Please join me for the invocation. Almighty God, your word reminds us that for everything there is a season and a time for everything under heaven, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. As we gather on this big red Friday of Spirit Week, we celebrate the contributions of distinguished faculty, athletes, and alumni. But we also gather to grieve the loss of close friends, classmates, and mentors. Today, our hearts are filled with the joy as we remember the good days of old and the hope of what will still be. But those same hearts also carry the sorrow of what has been lost and now lives only in your presence and our memories. Still, there is a season for all things, and we know that you are present in all things, that your love and your comfort and guidance are nearer to us than our own breath, that your grace is imminent and intimately known during days of both praise and lament. And so we welcome your presence among us on this day. And we ask that your name be blessed in our celebration and strengthen us in our remembrance. This we ask as we reflect upon your provision over the life of this great school and for the sake of your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Gallimore, and thank you to our choir for getting us started for this important service that we're all gathered here today. Every day I consider it an honor to be the head of my alma mater and to be able to come to Baylor and celebrate and participate in all that happens here. But today is an extra special day. I'm so excited that we're able to be here today, grateful that we're able to celebrate the recipients that we're going to name shortly, and then over brunch, or over lunch in the Gary Dining Hall following this service. This year is the 130th year in our proud history at Baylor. Today we are gathered to recognize true excellence in the lives of many who have exhibited excellence in their careers, true loyalty to our school, and those who have achieved success athletically while representing Baylor and beyond. Our founding headmaster, Dr. John Roy Baylor, implored our students to live their lives with faith, honor, excellence, and magnanimitas, meaning greatness of spirit. And I believe the individuals we are honoring today are shining examples set forth by the mere desire to strive for excellence throughout their careers. Today we are also gathered to recognize and pay tribute to those no longer with us, esteemed faculty, staff, friends, coaches, and classmates who we once shared time with on this magical hill. To begin, I have the honor of presenting the first award. The first award today is our Distinguished Alumnus Award. It goes to Chip Howalt, class of 1985. Chip Howalt is the recipient of our Distinguished Alumnus Award today. In addition to serving as a Baylor trustee, we need to, thank you. That's a lot of things have been going on this week. You never know. In addition to serving as a trustee since 2019 and serving as chair of the Advancement Committee since 2020, Mr. Howalt played a big part in the success of the Forever Forward campaign in 2018, was the co-chair of the 21 Celebrations Biennial Auction, and in February of 22, he announced the establishment of a new scholarship in honor of his late father, Harvey Howalt. A native of Dalton, Mr. Howalt attended Baylor as a boarding student from 1983 through 1985, earned a bachelor's degree from Boston University, and graduated from the Massachusetts School of Law. In 1995, he started working at Textile Rubber and Chemical Company, a company founded by his father in 1951 to provide latex backing for the rug and carpet industry. Textile Rubber and Chemical is still headquartered in Dalton, but has grown to be a global company serving many industries, with manufacturing and distribution facilities all over the world. Mr. Howalt became vice president of the company in 2001 and President and Chief Operating Officer in 2004. Since taking over the company as president, Mr. Howalt has either acquired or started 18 different companies in 6 different countries. He has served on boards of a number of area companies and organizations of the Carpet and Rug Institute, the Dalton State Foundation, and First Bank of Dalton. In 2022, he was named laureate by the Junior Achievement of Northwest Georgia's Hall of Fame. He and his wife, Cindy, are the proud parents of Baylor sophomores, Bo and Joe. And it gives me a great honor and pleasure to give this award to someone I consider a really good friend to me and a great friend to Baylor School. Please join me in recognizing Mr. Chip Howalt. One of the things that I hope in having our students present for this special ceremony today, which is something we have not done in the past, is that you can see the accomplishments of many of our alums. And you can think about the importance of giving back to the school in so many ways, and for recognizing the contributions of those who have come before us. We are all standing on the shoulders of those that we see here today and many, many others who've contributed so much. And so it makes me wonder, who of you in the audience today will we be honoring in years to come? And that excites me to think about. All the accomplishments that you're going to have in your lifetime and that we'll be able to recognize. And that's one of the things I really value about this. That certainly is embodied with Mr. Howalt and our next recipient. The next award is the John T. Buddy Fisher Award. Mr. Fisher graduated in 1946, and I've had the pleasure of spending time with him, and he really embodies the spirit of Baylor. At 94 years old, just a couple weeks ago, leading a "Give Me a B" cheer in front of everyone and getting us really riled up, which is certainly fitting this week. And the recipient of this award is certainly someone deserving and representative of the Baylor spirit. And we're awarding the Buddy Fisher Award this year to Steve Bettis, class of '84, posthumously. Mr. Bettis served on Baylor's Board of Trustees for 2 terms spanning from 2012 through 2019 and was a member of our Endowment Committee, also the Finance Committee, which he chaired for 3 years, including the time period when the Scotty Probasco Academic Center was built. He and his wife, Vivian, were active members of the Baylor community and were the proud parents, or are the proud parents, of Owen, class of 16, and Olivia, class of 19. Bettis and his family loved Baylor's emphasis on a culture of excellence in academics, athletics, and co-curricular activities, in particular the Baylor lacrosse program. At the May 22 board meeting, a special resolution was submitted and approved by our trustees honoring Mr. Bettis' service and his commitment to Baylor. A Bettis Scholarship Fund has been established to support Baylor's annual assistance program, and the first Bettis Scholar will be named in the 23-24 school year. Please join me in congratulating the Bettis family for awarding the John T. Buddy Fisher Award to Steve Bettis, and as his wife, Vivian, comes forward to receive the award. We'll now ask our Dean of Faculty, Mr. William Montgomery, to come forward for our next awards.
morning, everybody. I'm William Montgomery, and I serve as the Dean of Faculty. I've said it in many settings, and I'll say it again today, that teaching at Baylor is a humbling experience. I say that because one cannot but feel humble when comparing oneself against the excellence and the accomplishments of so many of our faculty. And the folks that we're here to recognize today are an exemplar of that excellence. It's my pleasure and privilege to present the Dedicated Faculty Service Award to two retired members of the Baylor faculty who have inspired me and countless others to grow as teachers in the classroom, as servants of the school, as mentors to young people. They've also served as living examples of dedication, professionalism, and most importantly, magnanimitas. Baylor has had the good fortune of having so many talented and loyal folks serve the school over the years, and serving the school demands many qualities: a knowledge of subject matter, an impressive versatility, a wicked sense of humor, a desire to continue to grow as an educator. But the most important quality, and the one our honorees today possess in abundance, is a commitment to the care and the growth of the young people in their charge. The average Baylor faculty member has 17 years of experience working with young people. The average Baylor faculty member has been at Baylor alone for 11 years. And between them, today's awardees fostered in Baylor students the ability and the desire to make a positive difference in the world for a combined total of 70 years. So I'll say that again: 2 people, 70 combined years of service to our community. To consider their contributions cannot but inspire both humility and gratitude. And though they are moving on from Baylor, we can take heart that their influence will last for years to come. So without further ado, it's my pleasure first to speak today for Eddie Davis and then for Judy Milliner. Although he began his work at UTC, Eddie Davis found his way to Baylor through the watchful eye of Dr. Herbert B. Barks, Jr. in the fall of 1981, and he served the school for 41 years. Eddie served Baylor so broadly over his years, in fact, that to be honest, I'm not exactly sure who would have the ability to speak on his behalf and honor him appropriately. I am absolutely sure, though, that Eddie deserves every honor the school is able to give. Baylor's mission, you see, is to foster in its students the ability and the desire to make a positive difference in the world. And I don't know that I can think of another person who has made as large and as positive a difference as Eddie Davis. If my calculations are correct, 41 years of service amounts to about 6,500 students who passed through Baylor's gates on Eddie's watch. 4,300 of them passed through during Eddie's 27 years as athletic trainer. And in that role, Eddie not only literally healed the wounded among us, he healed us in other ways as well. It's hard to spend time in Eddie's presence, as a matter of fact, and not feel healed on many levels. Eddie is patient to no end, kind to a fault, funny as all get out, to be honest, and he has an uncanny ability to make you feel like there's nowhere else in the world he needs or wants to be other than right there with you. And I don't know if he realizes it, but his presence did every bit as much to help folks as his medical expertise did. So you see, when Eddie's with you, he's with you. He took the power of his presence everywhere that he went, as a trainer, as a dorm parent, and in his final 9 years as the school's photographer and creator of the Red Raider recap. His lens and his words not only brought out the best in us, they showed us the best of ourselves. And they helped us to see that doing good was equal to doing great. And he made us want to do good evermore. I'm not sure what we're going to do without Eddie in the years ahead, to be honest, but I know the power of his medicine and his influence will flow through us for years to come. So please join me in honoring Eddie Davis with the Dedicated Faculty Service Award. Judy Milliner found her way to Baylor in the fall of 1993, and she served the school for 29 years, or for roughly 4,780 graduates, if you're counting. In her time at Baylor, she served as a dorm parent, as a co-creator of Baylor's Day On observance of MLK Day, as a member of the assist team, as a teacher of just about every language or every level of Spanish we have from 100 through AP Spanish Lit, and as the chair of the World Languages Department itself. So if one had a hat rack, well, you'd need two for all the hats that Judy has worn. To focus on the jobs that Judy filled is, well, it's going to make me run out of breath for starters. I kind of just did. But to focus on the jobs is also arguably to miss the entire point of Judy Milner. If you read the summer 2022 issue of the Baylor magazine, you may have noted the fact that in her time with us, Judy chaperoned 20 proms. What the article didn't list, though, and quite frankly couldn't count, to be honest, were all the fathomless other events that Judy attended and chaperoned. So I've been struggling with how to put this into words. Judy's motivation for wearing all the hats she's worn and for being at all the events that she's either managed or attended. Is it professionalism? Well, yeah, it is. Is it a sense of duty? Yes, that too. But to stop there would again be to miss the entire point. Although she's never said it to me, I think that Judy believes in her core, experiences with every fiber of her being, that one is none, but two are one. I'll try that a different way. Where there are two of us, there is compassion. Where there are three of us, there is community. Where there are four of us, there is magnanimitas. And where there are many of us, there is Baylor and there is Judy Milner. Life is a human endeavor spent on the human level and best enjoyed with as many others as possible. Be it through classes, through department meetings, through nights in the dorm, Judy wanted nothing more than to be among her people. Baylor. We are Baylor. We. And Judy got that. And things won't be the same without her, but we can rest easy knowing that there are 4,780 folks out there who can help carry on her teaching. So please join me in honoring Judy Milner with the Faculty Dedicated Service Award.
Good morning, I'm Mark Price, and I serve as the athletic director. The Baylor School Sports Hall of Fame was created in 1992 to recognize Baylor athletes, coaches, and other figures in athletics who have demonstrated throughout their career in sports those qualities which identify them as champions in their sports. Athlete inductees must have attended Baylor at least 10 years prior to the date of consideration and must have contributed in a positive manner to the overall program at Baylor. A candidate's academic and or extracurricular record are considered in the selection process as well. Non-athletic postgraduate achievements are also considered by our selection committee. Today we will honor 11 new inductees. This is the largest class of inductees since its inception in 1992. Each new inductee has selected an individual that has had a profound impact on their experience to introduce them. I'm going to now for our first inductee, ask former Baylor soccer coach Jimmy Weekly to come up.
Good morning. It's an honor for me to be up here today as the presenter for Allison Mitchell-Baczynski as she enters the Baylor Sports Hall of Fame. I cannot think of a player more deserving of this honor than Allison. Allison enters the Baylor Sports Hall of Fame as arguably the best female soccer player in Baylor history. I had the privilege of coaching Allison for 8 years, a run from 12 years old to 18 years old. What a blast we had. The traits that always stood out to me about Allison were her desire to improve, her work rate, her ability to lead by example, her soccer brain, her sense of humor, and the way that she approached everything and taking advantage of the God-given ability that she'd been given. But there was one trait that stood out to me more than the rest, and it was her humility. No matter how great of a player she became or how great of a game she played, she always approached practice, games, and her teammates with a humility and respect that caused those around her to want to be better. Allison was a two-time All-State and All-South performer. She helped lead the Red Raiders to state championships in 1997 and 1999, and played an integral role on the 1995 state runner-up team as an 8th grader. She was named Most Valuable Player in 2 state tournaments and was Baylor's MVP her junior and senior seasons. The Chattanooga Times-Free Press named her Player of the Year and awarded her for outstanding achievement in soccer at the newspaper's Best of Prep banquet. Baylor's homecoming queen in 1999, Baczynski was the recipient of the O.B. Andrews Award, the Best All-Around Athlete, and the Scholar Athlete Award. Allison attended Clemson University on a soccer scholarship and was a four-year starter from 2000 to 2004. She played on an ACC championship team as a freshman and was named captain of the Tigers squad as a senior. Among her career team awards were the Goodman Family Award, the Unsung Hero Award, the Lady Tiger of the Year. The Clemson Tigers MVP in 2003 and 2004, Baczynski made All-ACC tournament and All-ACC academic teams and was an academic All-American. A member of the Clemson Academic Hall of Fame, she graduated magna cum laude and earned a full postgraduate scholarship. Today, Allison lives in Charlotte, North Carolina with her husband, Luke Baczynski, her daughter, Haddon, and her two sons, Zeke and Levi. Allison, congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
It is my honor today to present Alan Carter to the Sports Hall of Fame. The point guard in basketball is much like a quarterback in football. He's looked to for leadership and toughness. Alan was a born leader. He, in fact, was captain of the varsity basketball teams during his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. Alan's leadership at Baylor was also important off the court. He served as president of the student council, vice chair of the honor council, was a dorm prefect, served on the dorm council and spirit club. For his contributions, he was the recipient of the Alexander Gary and Jumonville Awards, two of the most prestigious awards a student can receive at Baylor. Alan's leadership at Baylor continued in adulthood, serving as a member of the school's board of trustees. 1990, Baylor's most valuable player, Alan led the Red Raiders to a 26-5 overall record, including a 17-game winning streak. The team also went undefeated in District 6 AAA at 14-0, a feat that had not been achieved in league for several years. He averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal for the season, highlighted by a 30-point outburst in Atlanta against Georgia powerhouse Marist High School. He set the school record for 3-point goals. He made 9 in that game, a record that still stands. The team finished with a district regional tournament runner-ups to qualify for the second sub-state berth in the school's history. Allen was voted by the Chattanooga Times as the All-City MVP that year. During Allen's senior year, Baylor finished 20-10 overall and lost in the region semifinal. Allen was again selected for the All-City team in 1991. Allen was named the winner of Baylor's Iceman Award each of his 3 seasons. This award was given to the player who played best under pressure. He was also selected to represent Tennessee in the prestigious Boston Shootout Tournament. After graduating from Baylor, Allen was invited as a preferred walk-on to the University of Tennessee. Allen and his wife Tara live in Iota, Tennessee with Povey and Pinkston, and his son couldn't be with us today because he was afraid he was going to want to get up here to see Daddy. So he couldn't make that. And now, the first time I can talk from my heart, okay? From my heart. We were supposed to read, and I did. First time I saw Alan Carter was in the old chapel when he came to sign up for fall basketball preseason. He walked across, signed up, and said, "Hey, I'm Alan Carter." I said, "That's good. I'm Coach Clark, and I want to let you know right now that that rag tail or the rat tail you're wearing on the back of your head ain't going to work." Next year, as a sophomore year, he got the team to burr their haircuts, but they all had to do it as a team or it couldn't be done. They all did that. That's leadership. So you could talk a kid to cut his hair, believe me. Last thing here, because we're on time, is this. People that are in the Hall of Fame belong there. Great talent, great character, things of that nature. I remember this time a parent came to me to talk about why her son wasn't playing basketball. Said he couldn't play for you because you play favorites. And I shocked him by saying, you're right. I play favorites. People that play the game hard. People that are competitors. People that don't quit. People like that. That's who I play. It's nothing about like. And if it's going to be about like, then I'll tell you where it's going to come from. I love Alan Carter. Congratulations for being a Hall of Famer.
I only got 2 minutes, so I'll make this really, really fast. But I can't let Coach Clark talk about me without me talking about him. First off, tonight, my colleague thinks they're the storm, but we got a storm coming because we're going to kick their ass tonight, all right? A little bit about Coach Clark and what the Baylor School did for me. The Baylor School and Coach Clark, between those lines down there, Coach Cox, Bill Murdoch, Scott Wilson, Phil Hibden, they taught me how to win everywhere. Not just on the court. They taught me how to win in the classroom. They taught me how to win in life. They taught me how to win in business. The major things in my life that I work and live by every day came from the Baylor School. I want to thank all of my family down here. Sleepy trained me at the Y in Athens, Tennessee every day. My mother, I lost my father when I was a freshman in high school, and my mother sacrificed for me to come to Baylor and live in Lupton Hall. My stepfather, Wayne Tips, fantastic, most unbelievable man ever. My extended family, I could not be here today without them. My wife, Tara, is the reason that I'm alive today. Folks, students, there are awards, there are honors, but then there is this award. This is the greatest award I've ever been given in my life. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for Baylor. Go Big Red. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. The next person I have to introduce and induct into the Baylor School Sports Hall of Fame, you have to wonder how someone gets into a Sports Hall of Fame that had never made a basket, never called a timeout, never scored a touchdown, didn't hit a home run. Well, I'll tell you how you get in there. You do things for others to reach their dreams, coaches and players. You keep them healthy for 32 years. Then when that's over with, you learn how to write and do the things for sports, and then you get them recognized with pictures and stories about them. That's Eddie Davis, okay? I don't think I could do a better job than Mr. Montgomery did on all that. So I'm not going to try. That means I don't have to read this again. Okay? I am who I am, okay? All right. Top 10 things you may not know about Eddie Davis. Number 10, he sneezes louder than any human. He loves baseball. He is very smart and funny. He could play jumbo fantastic. Number 6, he can play the guitar. Number 5, he can make unbelievable homemade ice cream. Number 4, he can sing the national anthem like no other at a sporting event on campus. Outstanding. Every Baylor Macaulay basketball game, he sang it. He knows every episode of Andy Griffith by heart. He ran in the Boston Marathon, number 2. And the last one, he is a man of great faith and integrity. He is a special human being. He is part of my family just like Alan, and I love him dearly. There's nobody that I've ever met on Baylor's campus that I admire and respect more than Eddie Davis. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Eddie.
Tell you what, after Coach Clark and Alan, I'm about ready to go straight to the pep rally and fired up. I want to put on a uniform right now. Gives me great pleasure to speak on the next inductee into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Will Hunt, class of 1989, came to Baylor, attended for all 6 years, a stretch that saw the Red Raiders win the state swimming and diving championship every single year he participated in the team, 6 in a row. His contributions to the Aqua Raider run have earned him induction into our Hall of Fame today. A 2-time state champion and All-American in the 50 and 100-meter freestyle events in 88 and 89, Will was named Baylor's most outstanding swimmer for both of those seasons. He was captain of the Baylor swim team his senior year, and to show his versatility and school-first attitude, he was a state finalist in the 400-meter for the Baylor track team that spring as well. He also swam on an All-American relay team and took the team's Most Improved Swimming Award in 1987. As a member of the Greater Chattanooga Aquatic Club, Hunt was a 6-time national qualifier. Mr. Hunt was also chosen as a captain of the swim team twice at the University of Louisiana at Monroe, where he won National Independent Conference Championships in the 50-meter freestyle in 93 and 94, setting a school and conference record in the event. After college, Will moved into coaching with a short stint as the head coach of the Baylor Middle School team while assisting with the varsity squad. He has coached an age group for the Greater Chattanooga Aquatic Club and has been coach for both the CASL Green Giants and the Signal Mountain Middle School since 2008. For his contributions to the sport of swimming, Mr. Hunt was inducted into the Chattanooga Sports Hall of Fame earlier this year. I'm also going to add that Will Hunt is a classmate of mine. And I have always admired the dedication that swimmers show, oftentimes reporting for duty in the pool at 5:30 a.m., swimming for 2 hours, and then going to classes, and then going right back to practice right after school. It requires an extreme amount of dedication. Will, from my memory, did that without any complaints. And I actually had the privilege of watching him swim in the state championships the last 2 years, our junior and senior year together. Will was always one to add humor into any conversation and still does to this day. And I love that he's never lost that boyish sense of humor. And even in the state meet, I remember being right down from the end of him, about as far from Coach Wyke at the end of the chapel all the way to me right now. And I remember looking at him as he dove off the platform in the state championship when he looked at us, gave us a go big red, and dove in and continued to whip everybody and win the state championship. It's pretty impressive when you can do that and back it up. Will always did that and has always been a great friend to all and always kept us laughing. Please join me in congratulating Will Hunt for the Sports Hall of Fame.
Morning. I'm Heather Ott. I serve as head coach of Baylor's girls cross country team, and I work as assistant coach in our boys and girls track and field program. I have the exceptional honor to present 3 of Baylor's best evers to you guys. First, Bill Matthews. I'm pleased to present Bill Matthews with this Hall of Fame recognition, but I do so as a proxy of sorts. Bill's coach, Van Townsend, guided Bill through his remarkable high school career. So I represent Van as we honor Bill, and that's pretty special. Bill's calm demeanor belies the ferocious intensity of one of Baylor's greatest ever athletes. He enters the Hall of Fame with remarkable stats. He was a 10-time state champion in cross country and track. He's one of 6 Baylor boys who won individual state cross country titles. One of 3 Baylor athletes, his friend Hannah Jumper Wilson being another one, who won triple crowns in track, 3 grueling state championship races, the 800, the 1600, 3200, all at the very same state track meet. Bill's the only Baylor athlete to win a Foot Locker regional title, which earned him a trip to nationals. That's a feat that only us cross-country geeks can fully appreciate. By the way, Bill won that race the morning after eating calamari for the first time ever, freaking out Coach Townsend, who couldn't get down to Bill's end of the table fast enough to stop his young star. True story, I was sitting right there. The calamari may have been the secret sauce. Bill won that race. Coach Townsend forgave Bill. Bill was team captain in both sports, and he still holds the school record in the 5K. I double-checked that this morning while I was up at the track with my girls. A few more stellar numbers. Bill was a 3-time All-American, was named Athlete of the Year by the Times Free Press. He was a 2008 Tennessee Gatorade Runner of the Year. Bill's college running career began at the University of Georgia, where he was best freshman in Georgia history in the 5K, earned all SEC honors in 2009. Unfortunately, Bill's running career was cut short by a diagnosis of brain tumors in 2011, but he then transferred to Wake Forest, where he finished his college career with their cross-country and track teams. We can't close this moment without acknowledging that Bill was a very loud and proud Lupton III boy, arriving from Birmingham in January of his sophomore year. Today, Matthews is an executive with Antares Technologies, the devoted husband of his wife, Lauren, and the very happy father of his 7-week-old son, Will. Congratulations, Bill. Oliver Townsend, class of 2005, is one of the most decorated and successful male runners in the school's history, in addition to being one of the classiest students we've ever produced. As a sophomore, Oliver was a member of the boys' track team that won its 2nd state championship in 2002. Then Oliver, with his remarkable coach and father, Van Townsend, ushered in an era of boys' distance running during which the Baylor fellows were dominant, locally, statewide, and on the national stage. Oliver himself set Baylor School records in both the 800 and the 1600, and remarkably, his 1600 mark of 4:09:1 still stands. By the way, that record-setting race out at Memphis Briarcrest, where Oliver competed against his high school nemesis, Brentwood Academy's Andrew Bumplow, was truly one for the ages. It was epic. Townsend was 6-time Times Free Press Best of Preps pick. He received the John Phillips Award for Outstanding Achievement in Track and Field. Oliver finished second in the mile at the nationally acclaimed Penn Relays. He was 5-time state runner-up. Off the course and track, he was a member of National Honor Society, cum laude, and Roundtable. He was a National Merit Commended Scholar and winner of the Stagmeyer Award. After Baylor, Oliver continued his athletic career and pursued his studies at Dartmouth. There, he earned 4 varsity letters in cross country and track. He was captain of the Big Green Squad, while also earning academic All-Ivy honors. Shortly after graduating from university, Townsend was named partner at Citadel Investment Group, and he serves on the Friends of Dartmouth Track and Field Board, active with Make-A-Wish and Achilles Foundations. Oliver currently runs a global macroeconomic forecasting and investment portfolio that he developed, and he does all of this in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. If Oliver's father and coach were with us, he would have stories to tell. We'd all be smiling and nodding our heads appreciatively, and we'd probably be here for a while. Suffice to say that Team Townsend is alive and well, and growing. Maybe we can talk Oliver and his amazing wife, Alexa, into moving back east in a few years, so that Oliver's son, Acre, class of 2039, and his brand new daughter, Eva, can carry forth the legacy of their brilliant and talented father. Big congratulations to Oliver Townsend. Baylor track coach and Hall of Famer Bill McMahon said it best. Hannah Jumper Wilson is the best female runner in Baylor's history. Having coached Hannah for 5 years in cross country and alongside Coach McMahon at the track for those same 5 years, I got to agree. Hannah was the fastest and most fearless of our fast, fearless females. She's the OG. Hannah Jumper Wilson was a 5-time all-state cross-country runner, and she won individual state championships both as a junior and a senior. She led Baylor cross-country teams to 3 state championships, 2008, 2009, 2010. And track teams led by Hannah won 4 consecutive state titles. On the track, she was twice a state 800 champion. She won 2 1600 titles. And when she won the 3200 championship in 2009, she nailed the Triple Crown. Hannah set and still holds an incredible 4 Baylor School records, the 800, the 1600, the 3200, and she's a part of the record-holding 3200 meter relay. Hannah holds the record for holding records, in case anyone's counting. Hannah excelled while here at Baylor in myriad ways. She's student body president. She won the Jumonville Award, the Herbert B. Barks Jr. Award, the O.B. Andrews Award, the Outstanding Athlete Award, the Best All-Around Athlete Award. After Baylor, Hannah's running career took her to Vanderbilt, where her achievements earned her SEC Freshman of the Year, First Team All-SEC, and SEC Academic Honor Roll 3 times. As impressive as what Hannah achieved at Vandy is, she left an indelible mark here at Baylor. The girls' cross-country program prides itself on an ethos of sisterhood, a belief that each teammate serves the common good of the team in her own way. Hannah Jumper Wilson is one of the architects of the sisterhood. Hannah didn't just bring back hardware, she accomplished great things with and for her Baylor teams. She's now vice president at Raymond James Investments, is poised to train for her next marathon here in the next few weeks or so. And like her running colleagues Bill Matthews and Oliver Townsend, Hannah too is a new parent. She and her husband Alex welcomed daughter Georgia Grace to the world 10 weeks ago. I offer Baylor's gratitude and congratulations to Hannah Jumper Wilson.
Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Smith, the head softball coach here at the Baylor School, and I have the incredible honor today to introduce my first player into the Hall of Fame, Laura Newberry Phillips. Laura earns this privilege and status into the Sports Hall of Fame not only for softball, but also for volleyball. For her accomplishments in both sports, she was named the Chattanooga Times Free Press Female Athlete of the Year and won Baylor's Outstanding Athlete and Best All-Around Athlete awards in her senior year. Laura started her journey here at Baylor as I transitioned from assistant coach her freshman year to head coach her sophomore year. And there was a brief time, a few conversations that I thought I might lose Laura from the softball program and she just concentrated on volleyball. Thank goodness, thank you, Laura, for sticking with softball. She anchored our team from 2003, 2004, and 2005 at shortstop. And if you know anything about softball and baseball, that's where your best player plays. She was an amazing for us there at shortstop, and she was also in the heart of our lineup at 3, 4, or 5 in the batting order. She set a record for most doubles in the state tournament in 2004. And during that stretch of setting that record, with our backs to the wall, 2 outs, 2 strikes at the bottom of the 7th inning, Laura was in the middle of the rally, hitting one of those doubles that tied the ball game up and then helped us go on to win that state championship. She was an all-state performer for all 3 of those years, her sophomore, junior, and senior year. Laura, thank you so much for helping my transition. You helped set the culture and standard of what Baylor softball is today. Her stellar volleyball play, however, earned her a scholarship at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. She played the libero position in every game from 2005 to 2008. At UTC, Phillips amassed an extensive list of awards and honors, including Collegiate Volleyball Update's National Libero of the Year, the AC Scrappy Moore Award, and the Greater Chattanooga Sports Hall of Fame's Female Athlete of the Year, all in 2008. She set 4 school records at UTC, including 1 for single match digs with 51, 1 Southern Conference record, and 2 NCAA records for single season digs, 942, which is 7.19 a set, and career digs, 3,176. Phillips was also inducted into the UTC Sports Hall of Fame in 2020. Today, she and her husband, N, reside here locally, and her greatest accomplishment is her sweet baby girl, Sloan. Laura, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you into Baylor Sports Hall of Fame.
Good morning. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome Sloan Pittman into the Hall of Fame today. I was lucky enough to have a front row pool deck seat through her career as both her mom and her coach, one of her coaches. Sloan's career journey to this day didn't take the normal path that many of you think. Sloan started out swimming as a youngster, took a break for several years, was a rower. And her first day at Baylor, she showed up in my office and I thought she was lost. I asked her what she was doing, where she needed to go, and she said, I'm swimming. So I said, great, welcome. So she came, she joined the swim team that year. She was a part of a girls team that broke a 10-year drought of state championships, and now that continues. Sloan enters the Hall of Fame as a 7-time state champion swimmer, 3 titles as an individual, and 4 more as a relay team member. She's a winner of 5 titles at the Eastern Prep School Championships. In 2009, she was the female swimmer of the meet at both the state and the Eastern Prep Championships. Sloan earned All-American honors 15 times, 6 as an individual and 9 as a relay member. She has set 4 individual school records and 3 relay school records, that those were broken multiple times through her career here, the relay records. while a member of the Aqua Raiders. She set a USA Junior National record in the 50-yard freestyle in 2008 and was the first swimmer in the Chattanooga area to break the 5-minute mark in the 500-yard freestyle. Sloan competed at the 2009 World Championship Trials. She was the recipient of Baylor Scholar Athlete Award and the swim team's Female Swimmer of the Year. From Baylor, it was on to the University of Tennessee, where she helped the Vols to a Southeastern Conference championship. She was a USA National qualifier as well as an Olympic trials qualifier and was ranked among the top 16 swimmers in her age group in the 50 freestyle. Welcome, Sloan.
Good morning. My name is David Welchel, and I'm a 1980 graduate of Baylor. I was thrilled when I heard Jim Stover was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was even more thrilled when he asked me to introduce him. There is a wonderful bio of Jim and what he did for Baylor swimming in the program. This is not that bio. I started in Baylor in 1976 as a 14-year-old freshman dorm student from New Jersey. This just so happened to be Jim's first year at Baylor, too. Jim was fresh from Andover Prep School, a Harvard undergraduate degree, and a Stanford graduate school degree. One could say he was rather overeducated to be just a coach, but Jim is truly the smartest person I know. I remember the first day I met Jim like it was yesterday. After moving into the dorm in August of 1976, one of the first things you had to do was sign up for athletics. In the basement of Hunter Hall, there was a group of coaches sitting around desks that had plaques on of particular sports. I walked up to the swimming desk, and that was my introduction to Coach Stover. We have been friends ever since. When Jim asked me to introduce him today, his only request was that I be funny, and I don't really think that's going to happen because they only gave me 3 minutes. I want to tell you what Jim taught his swimmers. Jim taught us to care. He taught us to care about ourselves and our teammates, our schoolwork in Baylor. Jim taught us to work hard. We had to work hard in the pool, in the weight room, in the classroom, and running the stadium steps. Jim taught us to be persistent when things weren't going our way and when things were hard. Jim taught us to be respectful of our teammates, our coaches, officials, competitors, faculty, and staff. Jim taught us to be honest with ourselves and everyone around us. Jim taught us to pay attention to the details, as it's the details that are important. Jim taught us to be kind to everyone. Jim taught us to encourage each other and lift each other up. We're a team and we're all in this together. Jim taught us to set goals and to set them high. Jim taught us that everyone should act like and be a leader. Jim taught us to strive for success in the pool, in the classroom, and in life. While Jim was a great coach, he was a better teacher and leader of young men, and for that I'm grateful. As far as his classroom teaching, I think we can both be thankful that I was never one of his students. That wouldn't have worked out well for either one of us. I am blessed that Jim takes my calls after each and every horrific Nebraska loss. I am blessed that I'm able to call Jim a friend. I'm a much better person for having known Jim and for him being such a big part of my life. It's impossible to believe that we've been friends for over 46 years. I could go on about Jim for another hour, but I'll leave that for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome Jim Stover to the 2022 class of the Baylor School Athletic Hall of Fame.
I am Jacques Van Duzen, and I am the oldest human up on this stage. I remind you all, brevity is the soul of wit. Luke Worsham, Jim Morgan, Ben Nelson, and now Rex Kendall. 4 giants in the illustrious 73-year history of Baylor wrestling. They led us to 14 Mid-South championships, 13 TSSAA dual state championships, 18 traditional state championships. They taught, not coached, they taught 150 Mid-South champions and 132 TSSAA state champions. All 4 of these giants would agree that one stood out above all the rest. Today's honoree, Zach Watson, our only 5-time state champion and one of only 2 in the history of Tennessee wrestling. We coaches knew he was special when, as an 8th grader, his opponent in the state finals lifted him high off the mat, and Zach hit an airborne Granby roll for a score. It was acrobatic, athletic, and fearless. Skip to 4 years later, and the state duels. Our captain is caught on his back by a CBHS stud for the entire first round. 5-0. In the next 2 rounds, he reverses his opponent, lets him go, and takes him down 3 times. 8-8. Of course, in overtime, he takes him down to secure the victory. It was an honor to witness such an inspiring example of grit, courage, and pride. A week later, in a rematch in the state finals, he completely dominated this stud to win his 5th title. Please don't assume Zach was just another dumb jock. Cum laude, National Honor Society, chairman of the Honor Council, etc., etc. I urge all of you to read his biography, to applaud his long list of accomplishments and awards. You will find a true Baylor leader. Please welcome to the Baylor Sports Hall of Fame, Zach Watson. He refuses to speak.
One of my roles is to speak to folks about coming to work at Baylor. And one of the things that I try to convey when I do so is the essence of this place. So I'll say to you what I say to them. Baylor is the kind of place where people come to be born. More years than not, a brand new baby comes home from the hospital, and that home is Baylor. Baylor is the kind of place where people come to be married. Any number of weekends each year, people are married right here where you are sitting. And Baylor's also the kind of place where people come to be remembered. We've had countless memorial services held in this very chapel. So to be at Baylor then is truly to be home. And to be in the Baylor community is a lifelong relationship. On this day, we not only honor members of the Baylor family for the accomplishments of their lives, we also remember those whom we've lost. We'll start with a remembrance of those of faculty and staff who've passed away in the last year, and then move on to a remembrance of alumni who've passed. Mr. Larry O. Hill. Miss Catherine W. Piper. Mr. Kenneth L. Steen.
Hi, I'm Evan Haney, and at this time we would like to remember our Baylor alumni that have passed away. Mr. Jerry F. Gay, class of 1941. Mr. Alvin D. Hodes, class of 1941. Mr. W. Diedrich Moon, Jr., class of 1943. Dr. Clyde O. Wells, Jr., class of 1943. Mr. Donald W. Pippin, class of 1944. Dr. Charles K. Wright, class of 1946. Mr. Bradley N. Curry, Jr., class of 1947. Mr. Harry C. Powell, Jr., class of 1947. Dr. Lawrence A. Ballman III, class of 1949. Mr. Charles R. Griffith, Jr., class of 1949. Mr. Neil Conrad, Jr., class of 1950. Colonel Paul P. Winkle, Jr., class of 1950. Mr. Archie L. Griffin, class of 1951. Mr. Peter F. Moore, class of 1951. Mr. Robert P. Harrison, class of 1951. Mr. Michael B. McCartney, class of 1952. Mr. Pierre H. Morgan, class of 1952. Dr. Martin A. Perez, class of 1952. Dr. Michael E. Jablay, class of 1953. Reverend Howard O. Reynolds, class of 1953. Mr. Frank C. Carter, Jr., class of 1954. Mr. Richard E. Collette, class of 1954. Mr. John E. Rossage, Jr., class of 1954. Mr. Willis B. Smith, class of 1954. Mr. Thomas M. Garrett III, class of 1955. Mr. David A. McNeil III, class of 1955. Dr. Morton Slutsky, class of 1955. Dr. R. Chris McCowan, class of 1957. Mr. R. Marsh Gibson, class of 1957. Mr. W. Kent Campbell, class of 1958. Mr. Kerry L. Sin, Jr., class of 1958. Mr. Lori W. Tomlinson, Jr., class of 1959. Mr. Michael J. Travis, class of 1959. Mr. H. Thomas Zelke, Jr., class of 1959. Mr. Benjamin C. Hablutzel, class of 1960. Mr. Robert W. Chambers, Jr., class of 1961. Mr. O. Holden Thompson, Jr., class of 1961. Mr. Harold A. Scott, Jr., class of 1962.
Mr. Edward W. Finley III, class of 63. Tony A. Papa III, class of 63. Dr. Richard B. Terry, class of 63. Mr. Edward F. Wieland II, class of 63. Mr. Philip S. Adair, class of 64. Mr. Michael A. Austin, class of 64. Mr. L. Milton Leathers III, class of 64. Dr. Merrill B. Parker, class of 64. Mr. William C. Ireland, Jr., class of 65. Mr. J. Bart Miller, class of 65. Mr. William R. Titchener, class of 65. Mr. Peter A. Christensen, class of 66. Mr. Edward A. Potts, class of 67. Mr. David M. Yoakum IV, class of 68. Mr. Jeff E. Davenport, Sr., class of 70. Mr. Walter E. Titchener II, class of 70. Mr. Robert W. Showmaker, class of 72. Mr. James E. Rubenstein, class of 73. Mr. David J. Watkins, class of 73. Mr. Garnet A. Williams, class of 73. Mr. Wesley W. Cash III, class of 75. Mr. E. Ellison Brooks, class of 77. Mr. Craig L. Kniebel, class of 78. Mr. Jeffrey K. Morgan, class of 78. Mr. Patrick G. Danley, class of 82. Mr. John R. Farholi, class of 82. Mr. Raymond E. Looney, class of 83. Mr. Stephen B. Bettis, class of 84. Mr. Todd D. Ford, class of 86. Mr. John D. Woodall, class of 87. Mr. Andrew M. Aaron, class of 93. Mrs. Angela Tilly Sherrill, class of 93. Dr. Brantley B. Johnson, class of 99. Mr. William L. Pottle, class of 2000. Miss C. Noel Roseberry, class of 05. Mr. Alexander R. Peck, class of 07. Miss Virginia A. Parkman, class of 08.
I'm Jim Nelligan, representing the class of 1972. We honor the members of the 50-year reunion class. Mr. Dan W. Clower, Mr. Philip W. Cruzen, Mr. Summerfield K. Johnston III, Mr. L. Mills Moss, Mr. George H. Ruff II, Mr. William C. Ruffin III, Mr. Kent M. Russell, Dr. Bruce A. Sharp, Mr. Robert W. Shoemaker, Mr. Archibald Y. Smith IV, Mr. Frank O. Wilson, Mr. J. Keith Woodham.
Thank you for your presence for today's service. At this time, please join me as we receive the benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. This concludes our memorial service and awards ceremony. We will dismiss in the traditional assembly way. We ask for grace and patience as we transition into this last block. B period will be canceled. We ask if you are in first lunch to please make your way into the dining hall. If you are in second lunch, please hang out in the quad and enjoy the weather and let those in first lunch get in first. Patience and grace. Seniors, you are dismissed.
I
so much like when he was at Baylor, but